Imagine holding a sculpture, in your hand, and it's like all these intricate details, and you think about the hours, of work that must have gone into it, except it wasn't human hands. It was AI.
It's wild. We're talking about, AI shaping the future of like physical art, like actual tangible art.
And it's not just like robots with paintbrushes, you know what I mean? It's like a total shift, in how we think about making art, experiencing art, even like what art is in the first place.
So we've got a ton to cover today. Like, what are the tools artists are using right now? What's the potential here? And like, what are the big questions this all brings up?
So to help us break it all down, let's bring in our expert voice, someone who lives and breathes this world. So I'm really curious about these tools we keep hearing about. Like, what's out there right now that's really changing the game in physical art?
Well, one thing that I find just incredible is AI-driven sculpting.
Like, making a sculpture. Traditionally, it's such a hands-on process, right? It takes forever. But tools like, what's it called? NVIDIA's Gauguin, they're totally changing that.
I've heard of that. It's like having a digital assistant, right? That can take your idea and turn it into 3D.
Exactly. You can just sketch something out, rough idea, and the AI can turn it into a 3D model. Then, boom, you can print it or even have robots carve it out for you. It's insane. It really speeds things up.
That's wild. It makes me think of that, what was it called? The Molecular Sculptor Project, turning something as small as like molecules into sculptures. It blows my mind.
Right. And that's AI helping us see things we could never see before and then turning it into art. Like, imagine holding a DNA molecule in your hand. Or a virus, but like beautiful.
It's like AI is giving us this whole new perspective, right?
Yeah.
On ourselves, on the world, on everything. But it's not just sculpture, though, right?
Yeah.
What about the more traditional stuff, like illustration?
Oh, AI's all over that too. Think about those apps, like Procreate or Adobe Fresco. They've got AI features built right in now.
Yeah, I use Procreate sometimes. Is it true they can, like, suggest art styles for you?
Totally. You can take your own drawing, right, and be like, okay, what would this look like if Van Gogh did it or Picasso? You can even try out contemporary artist styles.
And it's not just copying styles. It can also do things like, color correction, composition, even suggest like little things to add to change the mood of the whole piece.
So it's almost like having a virtual art teacher giving you feedback in real time.
That's a great way to put it. And, for some people who maybe can't go to art school or anything, this could be huge.
It's like democratizing art, right? Giving everyone access. But, it's not all about the people making art. What about the people who experience it? The art lovers out there. What does AI mean for them?
Okay, so now things are getting really interesting, right? You've got companies like Archeo, and what they're doing is basically they're using AI to personalize art. Like, you could actually commission a piece of art that's tailored specifically to you.
Okay, yeah. Now that you mention it, I think I did read about companies playing around with that whole personalized art thing. But how does that even work? Are we talking like algorithms looking at your Spotify and your Instagram and then spitting out a painting?
It can be that sophisticated.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine AI checking out like your favorite colors, the kind of art you share online, maybe even like figuring out what emotions you feel when you see certain images. And then using all that to create something totally unique to you, something that really speaks to you.
It really is incredible when you think about it, like that art that's made just for you. I mean, is that even really possible, though? Can an algorithm really get, like, personal taste? You know what I mean?
That's what I'm wondering. Like, isn't taste kind of subjective? Can an algorithm really understand that? Or are we just talking about, like, a really fancy form of mimicry? Like it's just reflecting back what it sees in the data.
You're hitting on something really important there, this idea of AI understanding versus just mimicking us. And that's kind of what makes this whole thing so fascinating, right? It makes us question what we mean by creativity, expression, even the role of the artist. Like, what does it even mean to be an artist in the age of AI?
It's a total mind trip, right? On the one hand, the stuff AI is creating is amazing.
Yeah.
It's new, it's exciting, it's pushing boundaries. But then there's this other side of it, this like nagging question of, is it real? Is it authentic?
That's the tension, the uncertainty that's making this such a huge moment in the art world. It's making us rethink everything.
Like AI is holding up a mirror, right? To how we create, to what we value in art.
Yes, and the more we explore this, the more we realize AI isn't just changing how art is made, it's changing the whole art world, like the entire system.
What do you mean by that? Like how art is bought and sold?
Exactly. Think about it. AI could be used to curate online art marketplaces, connecting artists directly with buyers based on all sorts of data, or even just helping artists understand trends and make smarter decisions about their careers.
So AI isn't just a creative tool then. It could actually disrupt the business side of art, too.
100%. And that's both exciting and a little scary, right? On the one hand, it could make the art world more democratic, more accessible, but there's also the risk of bias, and the potential for AI to just concentrate wealth and power even more.
It's like with every possibility with AI, there's also a potential downside, a shadow side.
Yeah.
How do we balance the excitement of what's possible with being cautious about the risks?
It's a tough question, and it needs everyone at the table, artists, technologists, policymakers, the public. We need to be open-minded, curious, but also really thoughtful about the ethics of it all.
It's like exploring a new frontier, right? Full of potential, but also unknown dangers. We've talked about the present and the near future. What about way down the line, like way out there sci-fi stuff? What's the most mind-blowing potential scenario you can imagine for AI in art?
Now you're talking. Okay, buckle up.
Hit me.
Imagine a future where art isn't just in galleries or museums, but it's woven into our cities, our homes, even our bodies.
Woven into our bodies.
Hmm.
Okay, now you're speaking my language.
Yeah.
Give me the details.
Picture buildings that change how they look depending on the weather, the time of day, even the mood of the people around them. Or clothing that shifts color with your emotions, like calming blues and greens when you're relaxed, but then bam, bright reds and oranges when you're feeling energized.
So the world itself becomes a canvas, basically.
Yeah. And it's not just about what we see. Think about AI creating personalized sensory art, sculptures that release scents based on your mood, paintings that make music when you touch them, installations that create these totally immersive experiences.
Like you're stepping inside a work of art that's designed just for you, engaging all your senses. It's wild.
Hmm.
But what about something a little more practical? Could AI help solve some of the problems the art world is facing right now?
For sure. Like art preservation and restoration. Imagine AI analyzing super fragile masterpieces, finding tiny imperfections we can't even see, predicting how those works might change over time.
That would be huge for museums. Could AI help us save these masterpieces for future generations?
That's the idea. Using AI to not just experience art in new ways, but to protect our artistic heritage.
It really makes you think, are we like giving these masterpieces a new lease on life, using AI to bring the past and the future together?
It's amazing to think about. And it gets at this really important point. For all the hype about AI, we can't lose sight of what makes human creativity special.
Yeah, it makes you wonder, right? Like, if AI can make art, what happens to the human artist?
It's a question a lot of artists are asking, and it's a good one. Like, if AI can create something technically perfect, then what's left for us humans with all our flaws and imperfections?
Exactly. Like, does a brushstroke made by an algorithm have the same, I don't know, soul as one made by a person?
It depends who you ask, I guess. For me, it comes down to AI being a tool, like a partner in the creative process. It helps us break through barriers, explore new ideas, maybe even question what we think art should be.
So instead of seeing AI as a threat, we should see it as a way to push our own creativity further.
100%. Who knows what kind of crazy new art forms we'll come up with? Sculptures that move and breathe, paintings that react to how you're feeling.
Now that's what I'm talking about. Like, we're on the edge of a whole new artistic movement, one where technology and human creativity come together to make something really special.
It's a future full of potential, but as we've been saying, we have to be careful. We can't forget about the ethical side of things, like making sure AI doesn't make existing biases worse or create new ones.
Absolutely. At the end of the day, technology is just a reflection of us, our values, our hopes, and yeah, even our flaws. And like we've seen, using AI in art brings up a whole bunch of tricky situations.
Totally. Like, who owns AI art? The programmer, the user. What about the AI itself? These aren't just like theoretical questions anymore. They have real consequences for artists and how art is bought and sold.
I feel like this whole conversation has given us more questions than answers.
Maybe that's a good thing. Maybe it's not about finding all the answers, Maybe it's about talking about it, figuring out the tough stuff together, and being open to whatever comes next.
That's a great point. So if there's one thing to take away from today, it's this. We're at a turning point. Technology and creativity are merging like never before.
And it's up to all of us to decide what happens next.
So to everyone listening, we'll leave you with this. Next time you see a piece of art, think about it. Did AI have a hand in creating it? And if so, how does that change how you see it? How does it make you feel? Thanks for joining us on this awesome journey. Until next time, stay curious, keep asking questions, and never stop creating.